There's nothing that hurts. Like when I realized personally as Mukua that a student or maybe a youth has lost his or her life. You know, having having witnessed all these series of abductions, series of killings, and maybe some other cases where we have relationships where youths are being maybe killing each other using knives here and there. And now when another one occurs, I feel so touched. I'm saying this because of one simple thing. Recently, we had a youth from Kisii County studying at Kisii National Polytechnic, and she lost her life in a very seriously and mysterious way. Now, it is touching because she was a student who could have made the future of the parents or even the siblings brighter, or even her own future could have been very bright. But now she passed on in a very mysterious way. Now, how did she pass on? She stays in one of the places in Mwembe that we call, I mean, one of the estates in Kisii that we call Mwembe. Let me call it an estate. No, actually a region called Mwembe. And this lady went for a long call, maybe a short call, just as normal. And then it happened that that toilet where she went to, it was loose. The base was loose. And as a result, it cracked and sank. Unfortunately, the pit was very deep. So what happened? The lady fell there. She could not come out. Nobody could hear her shouts. And eventually that is how she passed on. This kind of a thing is really touching because I feel that there's some lot of negligence that is now currently happening from our landlords across the world or across the country, because you realize someone is so much interested on getting the rent, but they don't care about the well-being of the tenants. Now, like a toilet, it is said that it had cracks, but then it happens that they did not rectify that. They did not rectify that. So eventually you realize that this lady went there. It was at night. She fell inside. Actually, it was evening hours, probably about 7 there. She fell inside, and that's how she passed. It's really a touching story. And should be a message to everyone. You know, the same greed we are seeing in the leadership right now in the country, it is also a reflection of what also is within us down here, those who are not in government. Excuse me, those who are not in government. The reason why I'm saying so, you realize that people really want to be rich, who have money, but they don't care whom they are dealing with. Like in this case of a landlord, probably I feel strongly that this person could have taken care of that latrine, or even the initial construction of it. Probably something of that kind sinks like that. And I'm going to share pictures of the same on this platform here. If something of that kind happens, where it sinks just like that, meaning probably they didn't even put any pillar to support, not even just a pillar, even there are some things that are usually put on the floor of a latrine, and probably if they could have been put and well done, and the surface was well looked at before it was constructed, probably it could not have happened. But unfortunately it happened. The lady went down, and that's how she lost her life. I personally feel touched, and I hope that the family of the person who has lost the life could at least at this point feel strong that everything happens by the grace of God. Now, apart from that, let me share with you a few things that really happened last year that really touched me. We had one of the students in the same Kisii National Polytechnic. And I'm telling this story so that you guys can get why I truly feel sorry and feel sad after losing such a life. A lady who is focused, ready to go to school, smart lady, wanting to make her life better. And then she loses her life in such a kind of a way. So I'm talking over a scenario where two people are dating. That is a lady and a male guy. So the lady came to Kisii National Polytechnic for studies. And then the man was left back in their home at Kuria. I think it's in Migori County. So in their communication, the man doubted that probably the girl was not okay with him. Probably the girl is also having someone else. Probably they could be parting ways. And now constant communication, the moment they were bad, this gentleman decided to travel from Kuria all the way to Kisii National Polytechnic. Upon arrival at Kisii National Polytechnic, I don't know whether she found in the phone that this lady was dating someone else, or probably she doubted or they had an argument. Unfortunately, what happened is that they engaged in a confrontation. Eventually, the lady was stabbed by the man, and that's how the lady passed on. They left a very young kid, and that happened actually last year. These were young people. The lady was very beautiful. The guy was very handsome. What happened is that we had a scenario where the youths actually, particularly the students of that school, rounded up this guy. They hit him also. But the fact remains that the lady lost her life. They say the gentleman was arrested and then taken to police custody, but we didn't know how the case went on. And finally, the guy also, we know he was beaten badly by the comrades. We are not so sure whether he also lost his life. But the fact remains that there have been cases of losing of lives right, left, and center, people dying across the country, and we have to keep condemning this. Another case that really touched me is the case of Maimahiu, where people lost their lives. Seriously, people lost their lives. And it was as a result of floods where water came from uphill and swept houses right in the morning, very early in the morning of about 2, 3 a.m. And that is how people passed on. Huge number of people, about 71. Others were not found. And then we had kids, animals, houses, fathers, mothers. It was terrible. Now, another scenario that really happened to me that touches me most, it is the scenario where you realize quarry bodies were found, people killed, cut into pieces, put in a sack, and then wrapped and thrown into the quarry. I mean, it wasn't a good feeling at all. It was something good to see. And actually, at this point, I want to say that it's not ideal people lose life in this way. Nobody is superior to take someone's life. Nobody. Everyone here in this country, in this world, is going to die. And probably at God's time is the best. But now when someone simply decides to take your life, it's very bad. Now, another case that I remember really, and I'm giving these accounts because I feel strongly that it's a sad story when you realize youths are passing on in very mysterious ways. It is where a lady from JKUAT was dating a gentleman who was a stranger. They met somewhere. The lady was eventually killed. The head was found in Kiambu. Then the body parts were cut, then put into some polythene, and then left there in a dustbin. I mean, that is another sad story that you cannot really wish to listen to. People having such kind of heinous thinking to get someone and kill and then disappear. I don't know what the real intention was, but the fact remains that kind of an act is really bad. Now, we have had so many deaths occurring, particularly women being beaten and killed, and that's something that we must really keep condemning here. So therefore, as we condemn those who do these things intentionally, it's high time we also ensure that we are careful. If it's the landlords, let's be careful. If it's those who are probably doing some things that can cause them in danger, please also be very careful, because eventually we want everyone to live so that we can, even if it's liberation of this country, even if it's living the life and saving others and helping people grow, at least everyone gets that opportunity and then lives this world according to the will of God. I don't know what's your take about this, but please let me see on the comment section if there's any case that really touched you as well. I felt like I have to deviate slightly from politics, and then we talk about these things because they affect our society, and somehow they are connected with the politics.